Okay, great. Thanks everybody for coming to this event. I have like two takeaway messages. One, we are so excited to work with you in the clinics. Like, we love this. We love engaging with you. We love working with your interests, from the subject matter, building the skills, hooking you up with people in the field. So if you want to pursue a career or some pro bono work in this, we can't wait to start working with you. Second point is, you can't go wrong amongst choosing any of these clinics. Like, I personally would love to be a student in Professor Conyers' clinic or Professor Futterman's clinic or any Professor Hallett's clinic. Any of these clinics, you can't go wrong. The only way you can go wrong is to not sign up for a clinic. Okay, so I hope that we are persuading you of that today, if nothing else. I'm Mark Templeton. This is my student colleague, Mira Gorjala. My other colleague, faculty colleague, Rob Weinstock, he is equally interested in helping persuade you to join clinics. So in the Abrams Environmental Law Clinic, we work on environmental and energy advocacy. I'm going to do a couple of introductory slides about the clinic and our philosophy, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mira to do a deep dive on one of our projects. If you want more information about that also, you can see it. There's a piece on the law school website about some of our work as well. So we're trying to solve the most pressing environmental and energy challenges locally in Chicago, in our region, our country, and the entire world. We fight companies that are polluting illegally. We also try to have even stricter limits put on them by the government, which issues permits that allows companies to actually put pollutants into the environment. Sometimes the playing field is not set up right? So we actually have to get out there and try and shape the playing field so that it actually reflects a better public health, a more protected environment, and greater justice for our clients. And so we're advocating for changes to laws and regulations to be the way they should be. Government's got a job to actually enforce these environmental and energy laws, and often it's shirking. Now, sometimes because they just don't have enough, they're good people, but they don't have enough resources. Other times, they're just not doing their job, or they're influenced by a lot of political pressures or corporate pressures. And so we're there to hold government accountable. All the while, we're at the University of Chicago, so we can actually think about what are more innovative approaches to how do you balance, right? Using natural resources, generating the energy that we're using right now, right? Every day, every moment, with also protecting the environment and public health. This is just some of our clients. You kind of name it, from big green organizations, Sierra Club, Natural Resources Defense Council, Earth Justice, all the way down to true grassroots groups. And Mira's going to talk about our work with one of them. We do clean energy work. I'm going to let Mira talk about our work, energy justice work in Michigan. Under the prior presidential administration, we were suing the Trump administration or challenging the Trump administration for its rollbacks, making it easier for greenhouse gases to be emitted and destroy our climate. We can also sue companies that are polluting under the Clean Water Act. Our Clean Water Act has a provision specifically when government is not acting for citizens to sue. And so we have a number of those cases, one against a big steel mill in Northwest Indiana, another against Trump Tower in downtown Chicago. We're also trying to improve the water quality in the Chicago River for people who are out there rowing and otherwise recreating in that river. We work with residents who live on a contaminated Superfund site. In fact, tomorrow, students are working with our clients to present to the lead EPA regional administrator and the head of the Indiana Department of the Environment about their concerns about pollution in Northwest Indiana. And we also work to protect endangered species. So we got a lot going on. I'm going to let Mira, though, do a deep dive. Mira's been in the clinic for over a year and a half, and she coordinated, was a student lead for 2 teams working on energy justice issues in Michigan. And she just like throttled this DTE executive in a 2.5-hour cross-examination. It was a piece of work. I mean, you should read this. Just like I mean, really, like at the end of the day, it was just like, okay, well, that was a really bad idea. Like, the company should have just rolled over. And so, I mean, no, I guess it was awesome. And so I'm gonna let Mira tell the story of our work.
Hi, I feel like it made me sound a lot scarier than I actually am. But my name is Mira. I'm a 3L in the clinic. I'm going to talk a little bit about our energy justice work in Michigan, specifically with our client Solidarity. That's a sort of grassroots organization focusing on energy and environmental justice issues in Highland Park, Michigan, and sort of broader in Michigan as well. Our work is adversarial to DTE Energy, which is a large investor-owned utility providing electric service in Michigan. So this slide has a little bit more information about DTE, Electric and Gas Co. So they're a regulated utility that's publicly traded. They have a revenue about $12.2 billion and serve 2.2 million electric customers throughout Southeast Michigan. You can see their service territory in the map here on the right side. So they're like a very large utility in Michigan with direct impacts on sort of the daily lives of their customers. So this map shows the sort of broader Detroit area in red over here. And then this smaller block here is Highland Park. That is where our client Solidarity is based. So a little bit more about the Highland Park area. Their racial makeup is very predominantly African-American, so large sort of BIPOC community, and is predominantly low income. So their median household income was about $17,700, median family income of $26,000, and about 32.1% of families and 38.3% of the population were below the poverty line. So a lot of focus of our work is on sort of issues from a BIPOC and low income customer perspective. So here you can see a picture of a street light in Highland Park. Solidarity was originally sort of created because DTE basically uprooted over 1,000 street lights in the Highland Park area with no plan to put in any light and basically left the community in the dark. So Solidarity formed initially at least to implement these solar-based street lights to replace sort of the light that DTE took away from their community. And in addition to sort of the streetlight work that they initially formed around, they also do sort of broader work around implementing clean energy that's focused on sort of community ownership and community wealth building in terms of building community solar and other distributed energy resources. They're also focused on lowering rates and ensuring that energy is affordable for residents of Highland Park and sort of the broader Michigan community. And sort of just generally creating a just system of energy provision for all residents. And in addition to sort of the broader community organizing work that they do around these issues, they work with us on their sort of legal and policy work in front of the Michigan Public Service Commission. So this is a picture of the MPSC. They're an administrative agency in Michigan that sort of regulates the rates and other services provided by utilities. They're headed by 3 commissioners with a 2-to-1 political split. Most of our work in terms of intervening in legal proceedings happens in front of an administrative law judge. After it happens in front of the law judge, it usually goes up to the commission for a final decision. And it happens largely in sort of the way you think it would happen in a court, like there's testimony, discovery, cross, and finally briefs before it sort of goes up to the ALJ and the commission for final decision. In terms of sort of issues we've broadly advocated for, they largely focused on energy access and justice, including a faster transition to clean energy, comprehensive low-income clean energy offerings, especially making sure that they're sort of accessible to low-income and BIPOC communities, access to community solar for multi-unit owners and renters, especially because they have issues accessing solar panels on houses and things like that. Formal inclusion of all the values of distributed solar, including sort of benefits to reliability on the grid, environmental benefits, and sort of wealth creation in local communities, and making sure those calculations are used by DTE and the government more broadly, and investments in reliability and safety in low-income areas, because they've, especially Highland Park has traditionally had a lot of issues with downed wires and sort of bad distribution infrastructure, making energy provision really unreliable and safe in those areas. So there's a lot of work that we're continuing to do to push the Public Service Commission towards our sort of desired outcomes, but we have achieved a lot of gains. One of those, for example, is through settlement. In a case last year called the voluntary green pricing case, we engaged in settlement asking DTE for sort of creation of a broader community solar program, along with sort of a recommendation from MPSC staff to DTE include a program like this. Also advocated for broader focus on community ownership rather than utility ownership of clean energy resources, and implementation of a low-income oversight board to make sure that they were choosing sort of the right projects that benefited the right communities. Through asking for these things in settlement, we ultimately settled with a plan for 3 pilot projects in low-income BIPOC communities for community solar, almost $1 million donated from investment from DTE, and a low-income oversight board that is currently working to implement the projects that we advocated for. And through all of this, students in the clinic get to do a lot of hands-on work and like sort of the real nitty-gritty of getting these cases through. So we work on sort of recommending strategies to our clients, engage in stakeholder processes. So in addition to sort of like the legal proceedings that we do, we also do sort of more policy-based work advocating for certain things in front of MPSC staff. We also file discovery requests and review discovery responses, submit written testimony, and we were like, since we're largely the only group focused on low-income and BIPOC issues, we were the first to submit testimony on behalf of a low-income BIPOC customer, which was sort of historic in the history of the MPSC. We also conducted cross-examination that Mark was talking about earlier. Submit briefs and reply briefs and exceptions in between the ALJ's proposed decision and the commission's decision, and sort of lead the settlement discussions that I talked about in the last slide.
Okay, so I guess my second bottom line is join a clinic, you'll learn, you'll help your client achieve things in their lives in the world, and we'll have a lot of fun together. So whether it's this clinic or any of the other clinics, we really look forward to working with you next couple of years.